What's going on, everyone? It is Jane Hyken, and we are back with another interview. In today's interview, I will be interviewing yet another Crystal member by the name of Bree. And like the caption of this video says, she made $4,500 day trading in college. Now, Bree is someone who I've known in Crystal Academy for quite some time, and it has been nothing but an honor and privilege, truthfully, to see her grow as a trader, most importantly as a person. I hope that there's one thing that you can take away from this video if you know you are hesitant or have questions about starting when to trade. I hope that you take Bree's story as motivation to fuel your fire, to want to learn, how to pursue this skill, because like I always say, and I will always be honest with you guys, trading is not easy. There are obstacles you're going to have to overcome, emotions that you're going to have to go through, and overall just a plethora of really problems that, if you can overcome them, it will lead to being profitable on the other side. Bree is an amazing person, great mindset, and really has all the untangible qualities it takes to be a profitable trader, which is why I'm not surprised where she's at in her trading journey. But nonetheless, let's get into the interview, and I hope you enjoy. All right. So, like the caption of this video says, we are now doing another interview with a Crystal member. So, without further ado, let's get introduced to Bree. How you doing, Bree?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, Bree. Doing good. So, tell me a little bit about yourself, Bree. Where are you from? School, work. What do we do?
Okay, so I'm from Akron, Ohio. I live in Columbia, South Carolina. I've been here
Okay.
since I was 12, so I kind of did half and half. I just graduated from the University of South Carolina in
Okay.
May with my psychology degree, bachelor's undergrad. So I'm 22. I've been trading for literally like exactly a year. Took my trade about a year and 2 weeks ago, my first trade.
That's
So
crazy
yeah,
accuracy.
yeah.
So,
Um,
I guess to talk about so you're wanting to be a psychologist, I assume, or what?
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I plan on going back to school. It's just been a little hassle trying to find the grad school that I want to go to. They all require you to be in person, and I kind of do want to take online classes. So it's kind
Mhm.
of been a lot like juggling that and trying to find the right program, but definitely going back and doing a bridge program. So I'll
Mhm.
have my doctorate in 5 years. So I plan on doing that soon.
Well, I
Mhm.
know if I ever need to see a psychologist, I know who to go to. So I appreciate that for letting me know. So I guess my question is in college, what made you even consider even learning how to trade, and how did you even go about juggling a class schedule and learning, this skill?
So I've always been curious about the stock market. You will always see like the videos on like Instagram and like TikTok of people learning how to trade and like their kind of like come up story. And I knew a few people that I went to high school with who traded as well. So one day I was just looking, I guess I wouldn't say looking for a hobby, but I was just kind of exploring ways, to be creative, I guess. And um, I started watching YouTube videos on trading. And I actually went to my roommate. This was my junior year of college.
Mhm.
I went to my roommate and I was just like in her room and we were just chatting. And she like asked me what I was doing. And I was like, oh, watching YouTube videos on trading. And she was like, that's interesting. Like my friend trades. And I was like, really? Like she good? And she was like, yeah. She's actually like really good, has like a whole business and everything. And I was like, oh, sweet. Like, can you send me her number or can you text her for me? Like, can she help me? And she was like, yeah, I'll send you her Discord. And I was like, Discord?
Discord.
Okay, like she's serious. Like, yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. So she was actually friends with Sierra. So she sent me her
Wow,
information.
look at that.
Yeah,
Sierra's
yeah.
reach is honestly it never ceases to amaze me how everyone
Mhm.
knows Sierra far and wide. But yeah, carry
I
on.
know. And we're all the way over here in South Carolina and they're
Right?
friends. So I'm like, wow, that worked out. So yeah, I got in touch with her, got in her Discord, and that was right when she first, I think around the time she started her Discord. It
Mhm.
was a lot of people coming over from TikTok around that time. But started that and yeah, I took her mentorship and I took Rico's mentorship along with watching many of the Crystal videos and everything else, asking all the questions I could, doing one-on-ones with everyone. And yeah, and as far as managing trading in college, I'm gonna be honest, I literally treated my mentorships as a class. Like I treated it as a class, like the same way I would go home and study and look at my notes from class or um, do print offs and have a dedicated notebook. I did the same thing with trading.
Mhm.
So I treated her mentorship as such. I have multiple like folders and notebooks of everything I printed out, every vocab list she gave, everything, and I would literally treat it as if it was a class. And that's how I honestly taught myself and got the guidance that I needed from keeping track with everything. So,
So then I guess like, what was your class schedule like? Because I mean, I've taught a couple people in college and I know how rigorous sometimes depending on your major it can be. So what was your class schedule like and specifically during like, the crystal classes and mentorships and stuff?
hmm So it was hard to join every meeting that we had. I'm gonna be
Mhm.
honest because it was just a lot going on, and sometimes I would have exams and or just overall just be burnt out. But I watched everyone, so I made it a priority that if I didn't join the meeting, I was going to dedicate my weekend of just catching up to every video I missed or any homework assignment I was late on. In the mentorship, I would dedicate time for that and as far as like my schedule goes, um, I was trading in class.
Real,
So
so
yeah,
real. I love that.
I was trading in class. I had 8:30s and
You
yeah,
can
I had
select your
8:30.
classes. Why would you select the 8:30, bro? Oh my
I
gosh.
did this every single year. I'm like, I'm gonna be a morning girl. I'm gonna wake up early and go to class early. And I hated it every year. I don't know why I continuously did that, but I did. So yeah, I was trading in class a few times. It was hard, I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes I'd be walking to class and then I would be on like Sierra's live trading and I literally have headphones in, like watching it on my phone. Oops, sorry.
You're good.
I literally would be like watching it on my phone, walking to class, or I remember one time specifically I really wanted to take a trade. And so like I stopped walking to class and found like a bench and like I picked up my computer and like hooked up to the hotspot and like did it on the
Lock
bench
in, lock in,
outside
lock
class.
in. Yeah.
Right. But I was enjoying it. Like I was becoming obsessed with it. I
Mhm.
really liked it. I was very passionate on it and I was like this is going to be my plan A and my plan A has to work. So I did what I had to do, for the time being and during the summer I locked in the best as I could. And that's all I did. I really was just always on the computer, always back testing during that time. And I want to say it was more or less easier, I guess, for me in college because I've always been a reserved person. I never really was like out or like partying and doing all that stuff, all that fun college stuff. So I had a lot of time to just dedicate to studying to it. And I would say for everyone that's listening that no matter like where you are on your journey, if you're feeling any type of like resistance or any type of feeling like you have to give up, to know that that part is like going to come and it's absolutely necessary because if you don't go through that and if you don't go through like pushing through those moments where you're like, I'm good, like I don't want to do this anymore or this is hard, um, the reward after going through that and getting to I want to say finish end, but there isn't a finish line because it's a
Yeah,
marathon.
ain't
But
that
getting
crazy?
through those, yeah, it's never going to be over. But you're going to have periods of time where you're like relieved that you didn't give up because you're going to see the fruits of your labor. So it's worth it to keep going and to keep pushing through it because there's been tears, there's been stress, there's been like
Money
overall
lost.
just disappointment. Yeah, a lot of loss. Oh yeah, like I lost a lot of money too. And I was working part-time.
Mm.
So I was really like stretching my money just so I can have enough to put in the market. I started with options.
Yeah, yeah, I was about to say,
And
so what market do you trade?
yeah, I trade futures now. I started with options. Yeah, and
Hey,
I love
sorry.
futures. I'm sorry. I
Hey, it
do
is
love
what it is, guys.
futures.
I'm sorry. If you're watching this and you like options, it's nothing personal. It's just a preference, but carry on.
I do love options. I mean, I do love, oops.
I'm
I
about to
do
say,
love
take that
futures.
back, take that back. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, no, I love features. Options was cool, but I wasn't profitable in it. Not saying that like I know a lot of people who are, but I just didn't necessarily rock with it until I switched over. And when I did switch over, that's when I started. But also, I want to say it was to a lot of my mindset at the time too, because options was just me beginning. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of psychology that I learned throughout that
Mhm.
process that I didn't have when I first started. So it was a bit of both. Yeah.
So then what made you though pivot in a sense from, or maybe you already answered, but yeah, but what made you pivot from options to futures then?
Um, what made me pivot? I honestly was just kind of frustrated, I
Mhm.
guess you can say, with just not feeling like I was getting anywhere.
Yeah.
Um, And so I was like, and I was seeing a lot of talk about futures in the Crystal Academy and everything like that. And I was kind of like, I'm gonna just give it a shot. And I just dedicated one weekend. And I literally just took that whole weekend and locked in and watched like every single video I possibly could that you had or Rico had about futures that was in Crystal Academy. And I just like binge watched everything, went on YouTube and watched anything that related to what I was trying to get, and converted everything over like trade evade and all of that stuff.
She knows what she's
And then
talking
I,
about, guys. The fact that she said trade away, she knows her stuff. I'm not questioning it. She knows her stuff. Carry on.
yeah, I transitioned everything over and I was just like, I'm gonna just go head first and just learn it. Um, and I also too, I had a one-on-one with Rico, and when I had my one-on-one with him, we were talking about like options and futures. And Rico, he keeps it real. Like he was just like, I'm gonna be real. Like if you're gonna try futures, like just go all in. Like just do it. Like take the time, dedicate to it, and know
Shout
that
out
you
to
got to be
Rico.
patient. Shout out to Rico. And so yeah, so I was just like, you know what, you're right. Like I'm gonna take the time, I'm gonna learn it, and that's what I did. But
And that's something like I always like tell people, like whether it's options, futures, I don't care which one you choose to pursue, but you have to give it everything. Like, and that's like the whole thing. I don't feel like a lot of people like understand that. They try, they just try it. They don't really dedicate the time it takes to really learn, understand the market, because even once you understand the market, then there's the whole other flip side of that coin of developing your edge in that market so that way you can replicate the same just base hits every single day. But no, that's definitely something. I'm glad that that you found a market that makes sense for you and that you're able to consistently do. So around like what time period from when you started to futures, like how long would you say that was?
so I started learning futures, I want to say around the end of March, the beginning of April. And
Of last year?
I don't this year, this
This
year.
year. Oh, wow. Okay, my fault.
Mhm.
Go on, carry on.
Yeah, yeah, this year. And then I'm not gonna lie to you, don't recommend this, but I immediately bought evals.
Mm,
So I didn't
you poor
I
thing.
didn't
You ain't
like
know
paper
no
trade or
better.
anything.
You ain't even know no better. Just straight to
I
it.
immediately bought, yeah,
You know,
and I
as,
bought
yeah,
three
go on.
accounts.
Go on.
So yeah, so after I learned as much as I could, I immediately bought three Apex evals and I blew them. And then I did it
Canon event.
again. I bought three more and then I blew those three.
Canon event, yeah.
So at that point, I had a one-on-one with you. And I was just kind of expressing my frustration because, well, after I blew those accounts, I took some time and I was just trading with my own money. And
Mm,
that was very frustrating because now I'm like blowing the money I'm working for every
yeah.
day. And it wasn't just a little eval of money, it was like full
Yeah.
100s. And I'm like,
Your
dang.
net worth.
Right. And yeah, so that's when I had the meeting with you and you had did your mini futures course. And so we were talking about your strategy within that and I was learning that. And I was just kind of expressing to you how I'm a little frustrated, how I'm a little like burnt out, like nothing is working really. And you kind of just was like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like you need to just dedicate a month just to paper trade. And I was like, oh, a month paper trading. And I'm not gonna lie, at that point, I had this toxic relationship with trading. I felt like I had to trade every single day. I had to try to make money, try to make thousands of dollars every day. Like I have to show up every day for the market. But when you said that, I was like, maybe I do need to like just take some time and just not focus on the money, like just focus on like perfecting my strategy, just focus on my mindset, because that's probably the reason why I'm continuing to fail, is because I'm putting so much emphasis on this number amount and trying to set a certain number that I want to make every single day, instead of just focusing on the craft itself and then, letting the money come. So when you said that, I paper traded for a little while and I got my confidence up. Um, and I ended up I ended up buying FTT funded.
For those that don't know,
Three,
that's a fast track.
yeah, I got three of those in at the end of August, and I traded those, and then I requested my first payout on September the 10th, and then got paid out in September. It was a delay on the payout though, but it was some issues going on. But
Yeah.
yeah, but
How much was your payout for?
$4,500.
Ooh, I need some coins. I need some coins, man. Do you have the payout with you by chance or the
I I do. I have the email.
oh bad. See, I love people that come and prove. Now, mind you, I just want to say this much. I know that she has the proof. I'm just asking as if I don't know, just for her to show y'all, because I know how people can be sometimes, unfortunately. So,
Yeah. So let me turn the brightness down so you can see. Can you see it?
yep, I see the yep 4,500 from Rise. It don't get much more valid than that, guys. I'm not. Hey, I'm gonna just say this much. I don't care who you are. I mean, Bree, I know you're valid, but man, man, no, that really is something amazing, Bree. I really am proud for you for that. So, one thing I do want to say is the reason why I told not only you, but I always tell anyone who comes to me about Jay, I'm struggling, is because too often, too much people get into trading and they idolize the dollar because after a while of not winning, even if you don't want to, you psychologically you're tracking those losses. Like, man, I just lost $100 here, spent this much on that, I'm paying this much for that, and you mentally like you're just looking for a return on your investment. Like you're just looking for a return on
Mhm.
your investment. But I always try to tell people, if it takes someone X amount of years to become, a professional athlete, it took you probably what 3 to 4 years to graduate college. Why are you chasing instant gratification on a skill that can not only exponentially increase forever how much you could potentially be paid, but most importantly, it's a recession-proof like source of income in a sense, like this is not something to take lightly. So whenever I see people get discouraged within the first year, it's just like you said, it's just you got to let go of your idolization of money and just focus on the process. Because to me, trading is a sport. It's, in my opinion, no different from football, basketball, boxing. And like, what I mean by that is, there are many people who trade the same way there are many people who play sports, but who's really professional? Who's really killing it like week in, week out, game after game, play after play. And on top of that, too, with that being said, if you look at any of the top athletes, and this isn't even just an athlete, I don't care if it's a musician, even like you in school, a person, career, whatever the case is, the better you are at your skill, and when you master one skill specifically, that's how you generate money, which money can then lead to wealth. And I treat my trading the same way. Paper trading is the best thing I feel like for anyone just getting into futures in general, because the only difference between a live trader and a paper trader is that my profits are real, yours are fake. And that's why, like, even when I first started trading, I wish I would have been less aggressive with almost like how you were with, jumping into evals while still honing out the edges and fine tuning my strategy. I could have saved so much money, but just like I need to make it. I need to make it. But once you let go of that need and start focus on what's actually beneficial for you, I feel like that's where the growth starts, because now it's paper trading is like the best discipline all in all that you could give yourself, because it forces you to, okay, yeah, I won today, but what did I do right? What did I do wrong? Because the beautiful thing is in trading, it's like it's crazy how you can win and that's a bad thing. You can lose and it's a good thing. So you just kind of have to
Mhm.
work your way through that. But now I'm definitely proud that you were able to, overcome that hurdle. Especially, like you said, working part-time, using your own money, blowing accounts. It's very easy to quit within your first year of trading, because I don't think people understand just how mentally taxing and emotionally taxing, it can get, especially, when you feel like you're behind. You see maybe other people in your mentorship or even in Crystal posting gains every day. This person, it's just, it's very overwhelming, which is why, like, I'm glad that, even for you, but like I try to tell everyone else, like, you are your only competition, week in, week out, month in, month out. Like, it really is you versus you. So then my question though to you is like, what psychological, being your psych major as well, like, how did you psychologically continue to push forward, or was like your obsession for wanting to learn just like enough to get you through? Because I'm personally, I'm someone where my hard work and just grit alone about me, just how I'm wired, that can push me through stuff, but I know that's not everyone. So yeah, how did you?
Oh, I love this question. So I want to say this that I believe that everything is everything, and how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Amen.
And throughout this process of learning the stock market, learning trading, I've learned that there's so many similarities between trading and real life that I started learning as like time went on. Like, you know, decision making when emotions are clouding your judgment. That is the same principle for everything. That's the same principle for life, not only trading. Like, you're going to make a bad decision if you're all emotional and all over the place. You do the same thing in real life, or like not being grounded, or going against your plan and not trusting your plan. All these things I started like really seeing and really um getting clarity on in my day-to-day life throughout this trading process. So I want to say, like, really for me, what really pushed me was just knowing that um it's all a part of the process and that it was all connected. And at the time, I really fell in love with personal development. So it wasn't just trading, it was really like whenever trading was introduced to me, there was a lot going on in my life. Like, I mean, you okay, like I feel as though sometimes when you go through these transformation processes, you are put through a period of isolation or solitude. And what really motivated me was that I only had family. Like, a lot of friends kind of fell off, and it wasn't like an intentional thing. I personally just believe it was just God. And at the time it was just him telling me, like, it's time for you to focus on yourself. I got out of a relationship. It was just a lot going on at that time. So all I had was time to focus on me. And during that time of isolation, I watched a lot of motivational videos, like psychological videos, everything. And I noticed the synchronicities between all the videos and how a lot of the people that were speaking were saying like the same types of things were happening to them. Like, I went through a period where it was just me, focused on me and my craft, and all I did was like work out and like trade or like learn or like something like that that was just stimulating the person's and the individual's mind. And those were things like, wow, like I feel that way, or I feel like um I don't know, no one understands what I'm going through right now, or I feel kind of isolated, or all I want to do is just become a better person. All these things that I was noticing within myself, I was finding similarities between people who were successful or people who made it out of that period of time, and was able to reflect back on it and be like, this was all for a reason. Um, so I want to say that that was very, very motivational for me, because learning about the principles and being aware of how the principles transcribe in real life, and knowing that that period that I was going through, it wasn't for no reason. It was more or less just because energy, can't be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred and transformed.
Mm,
And I was knowing that the
cook.
energy and the so-called pain that I was going through, it was really just being transferred to a positive thing in my life. And so all I was doing during that time was just really focused, and I was just working out and putting myself through trials after trials of just everything. Like, any possible challenge I could do, I was doing, like waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, or like only or watching what I listen to, like as far as like music wise, or as far as just like eating certain things. Like, I became vegan during this period of time. Like, it was a lot of personal development that I went through, and I felt like that was necessary for everything to kind of come full circle. And I just go back to what I said in the beginning of saying that everything is everything. Every period of transformation, it can be painful. Like, think of a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. I'm sure that process is not delight. It's not like something that they enjoy. I'm sure it's very painful. And so, as any process is going to be uncomfortable. So I made myself uncomfortable for a period of time. and focus. Like I haven't been on social media in over a year. Like at that same time, I got off TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, everything. Haven't been back on it, and I really was focused on myself and my family, really. But that was it. And so I highly, highly recommend to anyone that's like starting off your journey or really wanting to take trading seriously or anything seriously that you want to dedicate time to and really focus on, like go all in. Don't go halfway in, halfway out. Like go all in and really just focus on yourself, because these are skills that no one can take away from you. Like it's easy to take a 9 to 5 away from you. It's easy to take, physical things away from you, but all you need is Wi-Fi and your mind, and you can do trading anywhere, and you can free yourself at any time. So 10 out of 10.
I definitely, someone like myself, I appreciate your spirit. It's very much showing through you. I can see that because everything you just said is not only things I say, but I personally believe in wholeheartedly too. Especially like the whole thing about like, this is a skill that, no one can take from you. I mean, I tell everyone, all the time, it's a beautiful thing. Like people think freedom, and while it is financial. I find freedom it's just like you said, the fact that all I need is a Wi-Fi connection and a phone or a computer, and I know how to trade. And that's not that I'm gonna win. It's not that I'm gonna lose, but it's the fact that I know what to do. I know
Mm-hmm.
what to look for. That to me is freedom, because at the end of the day, I don't care what anyone says. You only know you're right after the trade.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty, like, and that's the thing, like, and that's why when people talk about like, oh, conviction, and conviction is, don't get me wrong, it's very important, but you have to be convicted to enter for sure. But you don't know whether or not your conviction is going to be right or wrong until you close at that position, because you have to let the trade play out. But no, I definitely hear you on that. So no, like I said, I mean, I can tell you this much, just from how you talk, how you act, how you carrying yourself. I'm not surprised that you're profitable and making money and everything else like that, because there's just certain character traits that every profitable trader has. And I can tell you for sure, not that you need my validation, but you have all the, like, just from this conversation, I can tell that, you got you down pat. Because the biggest thing about trading is just like, in the earlier you quick it, which you caught on very early, which is why I'm not surprised you've been able to get and achieve what you have. Who you are off the charts is who you are on the charts. And the problem is, I feel like a lot of traders have, specifically new traders have, it's a human flaw of just accountability, because accountability hurts. It sucks to, for example, I mean, I could talk all day about this because I mean, I do the psych calls and crystal and stuff like that. But just someone, for example, who's quick to anger, you don't think that's going to show up in the charts? Someone who
Mm-hmm.
gives into every little dopamine rush and just, every little hit. You don't think that's going to show up in trading? Someone who relies on always being validated for everything that they do. You don't think that's going to, like people just don't understand. I'm glad you do, but people really do not understand how every single way that you are psychologically is going to show up in your trading. Even from like a relationship standpoint, people who are attached and just, not from a love standpoint, but just like overly attached to their partner.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think your trading is
Mm-hmm.
going to go? How do you think, like, especially too, because a lot of people, even though I feel like they wouldn't admit it, they have a love for money. I have no problem admitting I used to have a love for money, which is why losing trades hurts. The same way that losing a partner hurts. Like it's the same psychological approach. Whether someone wants to approach it or not, I can only just say open your mind and heart to it, because there's a truth. So that's why, I feel like that's when I became profitable. I'm always asked, Jane, how long did it take you to become profitable? And I feel like as of this year, my answer has basically been the same of once I understood myself, once I mastered
Mm-hmm.
myself. And because once I know me and I know all my triggers, I know all my flaws, but not just I know them, I have addressed them and taken the necessary action to change that. So when I am trading, I am no different on these charts than I am off them, because like I feel like a lot of people think that trading is just like a switch that you can just flip, and now you're just this stone cold robot. No, that is not at all. And my thing is no matter how much we as people try to detach ourselves from the money, we will never be able to do it 100%. It's quite literally I think it's emotionally impossible, because there's
Yeah.
no way,
Yeah.
for example, for some people that have large amounts of capital to trade with, you know, you might be in a position like 10, $15,000. It might not bother you, but it doesn't mean that you're emotionally ignorant to it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day,
Right.
that's still $15,000. I don't care who you are. If you take that hit, you're going to feel that. It might not bother you to the extent it might bother someone else, but there's no way you're not going to feel that, not even 1%, because that's just not possible. So,
Exactly.
but no, I definitely hear you on that. But yeah, no, if you want to speak a little more, like what would be like one thing that, like, I guess if you had to do over about your trading journey that you would do different?
Hmm. I would
Or
really the
if
first
nothing, it's nothing, whatever.
no, there was for sure things that I could have improved on. I would the first thing that came to my mind was to stop stressing and stop rushing everything and specifically chasing the numbers. Like when I tell you, like I was so obsessed with like a certain, like these certain amounts of money. Like I would like calculate, well, if I make this today and this tomorrow and this next week, then I can have da 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 da. And I would just be in my calculator all day long. And
Yeah.
then by the end of the year, I can have this much. And like
Yeah.
just overly obsessing over the numbers and that process, the money came when I just learned to calm down, especially because like I was able to see all the times that my patience was being tested, even when it was time for me to get approved for payout. Like it took forever, but that's just because there was some issues going on. But it took a long time, and so it was a lot of patience that I had to put into it. And like just sitting there and like being calm and not trading or just like just taking my time and really just not blowing what I had and knowing that when it's time it's time. And that was the switch for me. I always was saying like in the beginning of my journey, oh, I'm waiting on that switch, I'm waiting on that click one day. The click was literally just me calming down, and it was just me knowing that like trading is a game, life is a game. You learn a game, you play the game, you create your reality, and you just live. And you're just here to experience. You're here to live. It's not supposed to be like you're supposed to go through your emotions. Like you're going to go through pain. You're going to go through embarrassment, disappointment, happiness. You're going to have highs and lows, but that comes with life. But knowing that life is circulatory and you're going to go in cycles all the time, you're going to be up and down, round and round. But as long as you're moving upwards, as long as you're continuing to, raise your vibration, raise your mind, raise your mindset, and just continuing to stay focused on yourself, like the universe, the most high, God, like you have to win. Like there's not going to be, it's going to come, as long as you stay focused. And that's what I was just growing to learn throughout this time, that really taking my beliefs and what I know about life and really putting it into the markets, really allowed myself just to allow things to flow, and being in that flow state and being in that state of just knowing that everything's going to be okay. Like it's going to be okay and it's going to work out. And you have to know that, like you have to know that everything is going to work out. And if you don't, then that brings the doubt in, and then that leaves room for things to go left. But you can't leave room for things to go left. You have to really, really know that every decision and everything that happens is because of you, and it can be changed by you. It just depends on your perspective. Perspective is everything. Like it's literally everything. Like it can be a yin and or yang. Like it depends on which way you decide to go about it. But your decision is ultimately what makes you you. If you chose to look at this loss and be like, I'm a horrible person, I'm a horrible trader, like I'm never going to win, then you're never going to win.
You're never
Or if
gonna
you
win,
look
yeah.
at it like you take that on the back, you get back to the drawing boards, then that's what you do and you get back up. But everyone, I would just say like my greatest piece of advice is on not only just a trading level, but just life in general, just keeping in mind that, you know, you create your reality by the decisions you make. And every decision you make, like just know that is leading up to the next one. Like how you move today is going to impact you tomorrow, regardless of what it is. So if you keep that in the forefront of your mind through everything that you do, then you'll notice that things will start to fall into place for your life. And you'll notice things popping up in synchronicities or messages and stuff. And you'll be able to relate it to a lot more things because you have that in the forefront of your mind that this is all you. So
Yeah, do we share the same mind? I'm a little bit like kind of thrown off a little bit. No, I'm playing. But one thing I definitely want to hit on is, like I tell people for real that, trading is not a job. Because when you clock into a job, right, you know how much you're making hourly, you know how much you're making at the end of the day, you know how much you're making at the end of the month. Once you start trading, all that goes out the window. You don't know how much you're making. I don't care how good a trader is, even someone like, not even trying to put myself on the pedestal, but even someone like myself, you never know because you know why? Trading is just like you said, you are paid based on every decision that you make. And a lot of people in life are not good decision makers. That's why it's so hard for them to become profitable because they don't understand how the thing that they overlook, the smallest thing, it's why they can't reach profitability. And like I said, it's different for every person. I can honestly say, though, just from teaching people as much as I have, that for some people, that small thing, it might not matter. Sure, you wouldn't like to see it, but it's not going to affect them. For others, that one thing is the whole reason why they can't, overcome themselves. So it's always interesting to see, how everyone is psychologically, on the charts and the things that hinder them, hold them back. But no, I feel like you broke that down absolutely amazing for real, Bree. Just from, just who you are on the charts is who you are. Well, who you are off the charts, who you are on the charts, and not rushing. I feel like, when it comes down to it, especially like, if something's truly going to be a blessing from God, why would you want it to be rushed? Because that's not how God doesn't operate in. I'm gonna no. It's this is not how it is. So I feel like from even to like myself, I feel like I started to see a consistent flow of payouts once I just started to, okay, let me just make the most out of today, and then make the most out of tomorrow, and then the next day, and the next day. And sure, maybe 2, 3 weeks go by, and what looks like you haven't gained much, now your account is up, Lord knows how much. Now you're eligible for a payout, all because you decided to take the slow route. And that's
Mhm.
just like the thing I love about trading. Can you get rich off trading? Absolutely. But it's a get rich slow. It could not be the furthest thing from get rich quick. Get rich followed by any word that's similar to speed, it's the farthest thing from it. And I'm sure like that too. Because it really is just all trading is sometimes just compounding wins. Like at its core, that's what I love about trading is, and that's why I don't think I'd ever want to stop trading. Like even if it was just like, a couple trades a month, I just love how mentally sharp it keeps me. Like it keeps me locked in every area of my life. And I say all the time how trading helped me before I better myself off the charts. It was already making me a better person because now all of a sudden, it's like, okay, I may not see how this correlates to my real life, but I'm liking how trading has forced me to, weigh pros and cons, look at things on a risk to reward. Does this make sense? Maybe not, like it just naturally forms you over time. But no, I definitely hear you on that. So appreciate you breaking that down.
Yeah. I want to say this
No,
before
yeah,
I
yeah,
forget.
go for it.
I was going to say this. Remember too that if you dream small, you're going to get small.
Yeah.
And that there's a level of delusion that you have to have.
Let's talk about it 100%. I'm gonna cut you off
Yeah.
here. I say all the time, if you think that you can roll out of bed, metaphorically speaking, but hop on your computer and make thousands of dollars in a day, let's just say $5,000 in a day, and let's just say it takes you a year or a year and a half to learn this, there is not a job, career, or anything, to my knowledge, outside of upper end lawyers, doctors, surgeons. We're going to specifically say surgeons. Um, Maybe your best real estate guy in the state. The bottom line,
Mhm.
there is a very, 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 very small niche of jobs that can pay you thousands of dollars a day. But hold on, I mean to tell me I can make this in hours or minutes. Now
Yeah.
we went from okay, it's a couple things to actually no, there's nothing. There's actually nothing that'll pay you thousands in a minute. No, but yeah, carry on. You have to
No,
be
seriously,
delusional.
like
So like,
you have to be delusional. Like, and I learned that too because, well, aside from trading, my family calls me Dreamer. That's my nickname, and
mm,
I've always
Bree the
been kind
dreamer. I ain't gonna lie. You got to put that on a jersey.
of right. But no, I've always kind of just been like, I don't want to say like la la la, but just kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Optimistic, it
just,
sounds like.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
yeah.
like because I really do more than belief. I have faith and know that everything is what you create it to be. And if I am shooting for something that is of low caliber, or if I'm, wanting to achieve a goal that is not as high as I can go. You know, when they say shoot for the stars, like it might be
Mhm.
cliche, but no, like seriously, like be delusional about it. Like, I mean, and the best like example I can use is like when I first got into trading, I have this vision. I'm trying to move to Charlotte by the end of this month. So fingers crossed with that. But when I first was like trying to do it, I was like looking at, nothing wrong with regular apartments, but like regular apartments, da 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 da. But then when I started like really getting into, personal development and mindset and things like that, I'm like, I'm gonna shoot for the top. Like I want to be on the 40th floor somewhere. Like I don't know. Like I could just have a vision of it, and you stick to the vision, whatever it is. Like I don't care what the vision is. Like it can be like you want a horse in a year. I don't know. I don't care. Just whatever it is,
Yeah.
like stick to that vision. You know what I mean? Because if
Mhm.
you stick to it so long, your mind and your consciousness, it can't differentiate what's physical. So if you think about that long enough, it's going to become your reality, because by the time the physical catches up to your mindset, it's going to be here. And I say that to say, when I was waiting on this payout and stuff, because I've spent so much time, um, you could say manifesting, you could say visualizing, whatever you want to call it, because I spent so much time and space in that energy. When it came, it wasn't like oh my gosh, like I just got paid out, like woohoo. It
Yeah.
was normal. And it was
Mhm.
normal. And it was like, okay, thanks. Because you feel as though obviously show gratitude and
Yeah.
appreciation, but it became normal because I thought about it so much. For like, thinking about that payout for over a year, every single day, all day long. Like you're thinking about it so long, it becomes normal to you. So when it comes, you're on that frequency, like you're there with it now. Now you're on that level to where you deserve to be getting that much every so often. And then when the next amount comes that's even bigger, it's not going to be a big celebration, like in Love and Basketball when a girl goes to shoot the ball and she just stays like
Yeah.
that and
Yeah.
faster, like the longer
That's
you
a,
stay
that's
like
that's a
that,
great
like
analogy. Yeah.
yeah, like so yeah, it becomes more like, okay, that it's to be, I guess, expected for where you are mindset wise.
Yeah, and I'm gonna actually pay you. Like I said, you were hitting some great points. I feel like that's just something that, I feel like even in today for me, I don't like you. I get payouts. It doesn't feel like, and that's so sad. But like, because I remember a time where, man, I would get a payout, and y'all gonna make me lose my like, bro.
Hey.
It was just, bro. And now it's like I get a payout. Okay. But see,
Right.
it's like, oh man, because no, you're so absolutely right about that, Bree. It's like you put everything about you in that mindset of, okay, I'm gonna get this payout. I already know how it's gonna be. I know, and then when you get it, it's like in doing that, you killed all the excitement. So when you get it, you're like, okay. I mean, I'm appreciative, I'm thankful,
Right.
but see, for me, it's like with trading.
Yeah.
Like people ask me, like, do I love trading? And it's always a conflicting answer. I love trading, but it's weird because I don't like it. And that doesn't make sense, but I'll explain myself. I love trading for what it's done for me, definitely, from a financial standpoint, but more from an internal mental. But I don't like it because you can never really appreciate a win. And the reason
Yeah.
why I say that is because I don't care if it's you, me, or anyone else. If you make $1,000 today, once the market closes, once the sun goes down, it doesn't matter anymore. Because you know why? You got to get up and do the same process the next day. Because what does that $1,000 mean if you blow it tomorrow? And that's
Hmm.
why I say, like, I love trading. I just don't like it because when do you ever have time to actually get excited? I don't know when. Truthfully, the only time I feel like I ever get to enjoy trading is, ironically, like I said, trading is so paradoxical. The only time I get to enjoy trading is when I'm not trading. Because I like I get to actually like enjoy the benefits of my discipline, my hard work, my risk management, like every single thing I go through in a week or a month or a year. I don't get to enjoy any of that when I'm trading month to month, day to day, week to week. And then all of a sudden, like let's just say I take a week off, 2 weeks off, go here, go there. Now it's like, oh, now I'm in
Right. Because
because
you
now
can
I
feel
get,
the
yeah,
difference.
I can feel different.
Yep.
But it's like in the moment, like I get a payout, like a 5-figure payout, that's cool. That's fine. Yeah,
Right. That's
and I'm
good.
thankful for I'm thankful. I thank God every day I get a payout and every time I get a payout. But it doesn't hit the same like it once. And that's probably like the one thing I miss because I'm gonna tell you everyone right now, ain't nothing like your first prop firm payout. That is, at least for me, that is a feeling I will never forget. You could compare it to the most extreme highs of anything in life because
Mhm.
it's an accumulation of your hard work, and especially too for trading.
That's when it's when you know it's real. Like that's when you
Yeah,
know it's real.
man, yeah, for real. I swear to God, there ain't nothing like when that wire transfer hits,
Yeah.
and you get that bank notification, like so.
Like what? Yeah.
Man, no, yeah, it's
Yeah.
so it's just amazing. But it's like you do it once, twice, three, four, five. Okay, but see,
Right. It's normal now.
that's how like there's just one Kobe Bryant video. I don't know what finals he was in, but he's like, job's not finished. Like, and like, especially like too, like with like the goals I have in my life and other things I'm trying to do, invest in other cases. Every payout I get, it's like I don't celebrate it like that because the job's not finished. I got so many more things I got to do, so many more goals I got to hit. Now, it's like I'm not happy about it, but at the same time too, like I hear you when you're saying like when you stay in that mindset, like okay, I'm gonna get this pay, I'm gonna get this payout, and like you've spent every ounce of yourself emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
already thinking how it's gonna be, what's gonna feel that when you get it, it's like, well, I'm not surprised.
But that's how it's supposed to be, though. Like you're supposed to be on this neutral flow. You know, you're not supposed to be
Always even
overly
keel,
excited or
always even
overly
keel.
sad and connected to the moment. Like you're just
Mhm.
supposed to be, you know, you're just supposed to be experiencing everything as it is. You're not supposed to put anything on a pedestal, you know. So
Ever,
like
never,
that's how it's
never.
supposed to be. You know, that first payout is gonna. I was telling my little sister too throughout this process. I'm glad I was blessed to be a big sister because I've been like talking to them like in their ear throughout this whole process, like this is what I'm doing, and then I'm showing them like these visions for me, and I'm showing them like, or not just me, for all of us, and I've been showing them like these big things, and I'm like, I want to do this, I want us to go here, I want to travel here, and they've been able to like see the process of like the actual manifestation and like how things happen, and they're like, whoa, like go Bree Bree, like da-da-da, like you're doing it. And I just love that because now they're going to know that throughout this whole time I haven't just been talking about like physical things. I've been telling them, putting in their ear, like, I promise you, you can do anything you want. Like, watch this. You know what I mean? And they're like really doing it and really putting that in their mind.
I
Mhm.
feel like what it comes down to is like, generally at its core, how big would you dream if you knew you couldn't lose?
See,
You
like,
know what I'm saying? Like really, like how big would you imagine yourself if you knew that failure was not real? Okay, now execute it. Because
yeah,
I mean,
literally.
I say all the time that generally means when I say this, until death, all losses are merely psychological. There's not a single loss that you can take in any aspect of life that you cannot recover from. Now, some losses are more than others. They hit a little hard, it might take a little bit to get back, but you're not a loser.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta get back, but it doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
that you've lost. If anything, as always, it's just a lesson. But no, I definitely hear you. Like especially, are you the oldest sibling or middle sibling or so
Mm-hmm.
for
I'm the
so for
oldest.
so for me being the oldest, it's like because I have a sister, she's in college too, right? And I'm teaching her how to trade and stuff like that. And she sees all the stuff I'm doing and everything like that. And I just be telling her the same thing. I'm like, you just gotta look at yourself as truly like limitless. Like why would I put a cap on God's creation? Like on myself. Like why would I do that when life is already hard as is. Why am I gonna make it any harder thinking I can't do this? If anything, I've always been the individual to be like, why not me? And I feel like that's where the delusion has to start is okay,
Mm-hmm.
he's made that much money. I can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
No idea how I'm going to get there. No idea how it's going to get done, but I know that by faith, I promise you I will. And I feel like that's just like one thing like I'm in for like, at least like my mind is always at for training. Like I'm always in like a by faith mindset. Like, okay, I may not know how I'm going to get this, get that, but I know that by faith I'll get there. Because
Mm-hmm.
like I tell people all the time, I feel like I genuinely believe my heart and soul. There are only when you chop it down to true psychology in the market, there are two emotions, and that is it. It is faith and it is fear. Those who are
Mm-hmm.
faithful will always devour those who are fearful because those who are fearful don't trust themselves. And if you don't trust
Right.
yourself, congratulations. Your money just went from your pocket to mine. And
Right.
that's why I always, in everything I do, I will lose a trade full of faith. The same way I will win a trade full of faith. The same way I carry
Mhm.
myself off the charts full of faith, because it's just like you said, it's a domino effect. And you really have to become the person that you want to be. And I feel like that's something that I feel like you
Mhm.
are like hitting on every single point of. And I can tell, like, I mean, I would say this much, even if you hadn't gotten a single payout yet, you are profitable in all the ways that matter. Like everything, you know what I'm saying? Like everything you're saying, it's just that's just a winning mindset. That's just a winner because, unfortunately, there are people who have the same mindset and they aren't winning as of yet, but they have the foresight to know that they will. And I feel like
Right.
that's the only difference. And really, when it comes, we're going to talk about trading still. The only difference between a profitable trader and someone who's not is the one who just kept going. It's because imagine if they would have quit. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I wanted to quit trading. You know what I'm saying? And I
Mhm.
just was like, man, I just all right, load it back up. Like,
Right.
and every time you want to quit, all right, let me do this again. And you
Yeah.
just you just keep going. But if you
Mhm.
don't stop, you're not really losing because no matter how you cut it, the moment you start something, I'm a firm believer, you're never really starting back at ground zero. I feel like it's impossible for anyone. I don't care if you learned something today and didn't like it tomorrow. You can never be back at ground zero because ground zero is you knew nothing.
Right.
So unless you
Exactly.
suffered the traumatic brain injury, like there's no way
Mhm.
you're not good. There's no way to start back at ground zero.
Yeah. The
So then
best.
I guess like my next question is just like, with everything like you're doing in trading, like, is this something that you just want to be able to have as a skill? Is this something that maybe sometime down the road you want to do full time? Like where do you see trading at in your life?
I would love to trade full time. I would love to do that in the future. That would be ideal because winning back that time,
Mm,
winning back your time throughout your day.
mm.
Nothing wrong with the 9 to 5, just me personally. I would rather have my time back in my day to be able to, do what I need to do, where go, when I go to grad school, I'll have time for my studies and I'll have time to actually take care of myself and things like that and not stress. So I would love to transition to doing it full time. But yeah, until the time comes, I'm content with where I am. Just gonna keep focusing and keep, putting in the work and keeping a clear mind, and it'll come. Yeah.
So do you still have, because I'm just curious, like for your fast track accounts, did you close those or do you still have those, or like how did you go about that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have 20 now, so I reinvested. Yeah.
Let's talk about it. You have how many?
I have 20. I have the
What
max
size?
that you can trade with.
What sizes?
Um, I got the 25Ks.
So 2020 for the
Yeah.
format. So one payout, we talking big money at that point. So have you still been trading those, or are you waiting for them
Mm-hmm.
to come in? Okay.
No, they're in, and I've been trading them. Yep, I'm working on my next 10-day payout now. So hopefully
Been
by
going
the
good? That's all that
yep,
matters. That's all that matters.
consistency's been good. Yep, hopefully by the end of next week I can submit that payout request for those accounts and see that.
Already?
Mm-hmm.
You just got paid though. Like,
And I in the
man,
same
hey,
day
hey, hold
I
on,
reinvested.
bro. Hold on, bro. Hey, I would say right now, you gonna get that penthouse in Charlotte. You gonna get that penthouse in Charlotte, bro. Oh my gosh. No, you're killing it. I love to hear stuff like that. Cause I'm gonna just say this, right? This is like the one thing I want to say on this. I get so like I'm in a community, like I got a lot of friends who trade, you know, and because we all do this, make that, it's just the excitement isn't really the same because I expect that from, for instance, Rico, Wall Street, Sierra, for example. So whatever they do, I like. That's why. Okay, I expect that from you, but to hear from other people, that's really what it reminds me why I love what I do, because just to know that, like,
Mhm.
I've in some way, shape, or form helped you along the way. And, now that you're doing it for your own now, that's what matters the most to me. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like I feel like what I love about trading, why I just do what I do, is because I just always wanted people to, know that not only is it possible because I can do it, but because if you just believe in yourself, like I mean, hey, I mean, like you just said, and what I love about you is you approach it from like a business perspective. See, a lot of people, right? They'll get that $4,500 payout, and feel the need to go treat themselves to make up for the lost time. When the smart thing to do is not, okay, yes, you did it, you know it's real. Take that, reinvest it back into the business because in trading, you are the business, you are the company. Take that, reinvest it, get more capital, and then with that second one, you want to take a little bit off the top now. Okay, now you've earned it, but
Right.
because that's kind of what I did. Like when I first got my first 20 apexes at the time, we still have them, but what I did was I passed three accounts, got funded, paid, and then with the payouts from those three, I then withdrew it, got another 10, and then same thing, took it out, boom, passed them. And then once I got the withdrawal, bought the last seven, so now I had 20. But it's just a stacking process. And like I wish that more people understood
Yeah.
that, like, okay,
Right.
I personally, as myself, I do not care if someone trades personal or prop. You're gonna have to learn how to trade either way, but that's the beauty of prop firms. It's to give you leverage that you don't have. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
I don't care what no one says. I will be the first one to tell you, I wouldn't have not have made the money I made in no type of way if I didn't have prop firms. And sure, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and with this whole, instant funding movement, I love it. I absolutely, because now I don't need to prove myself anymore because I'm sorry, but someone like me, I know how to trade, bro. I don't respectfully, I don't
Hmm.
care. I'm not gonna name drop anymore. I'm not gonna name drop problems. I don't care who the problem is. I don't need to prove myself to no one. I know what I'm doing. But so that's why I kind of
Right.
like because it saves time, you know what I'm saying? But no, that's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. So, you got 25K. So that's like basically 500 in funding. That's crazy.
Hmm.
And you see,
Yeah, I
like,
immediately just put it. I bought more accounts the same day it hit my account
man, I
because
love that.
I don't even want to play around with it. That was the goal, was to have 20. So I just went right for that. And it hit different, like logging in and seeing all those accounts. I was just like, dang,
Yeah, I
oh,
know.
time to get to work. But
And,
yeah.
and you know what's crazy? Like, but see, one thing I appreciate about you, Bree, is how you approached it. Like, I feel like so many people they get it wrong in the prop space. They try to get the max accounts and they have no idea what they're doing. Like, they still haven't refined themselves. They still haven't this. Like, even you, like, if I really look at your journey, okay, you started at options, pivoted to futures, right? And then went through a little down period. So you went to paper. And I know in paper, that's where you were able to really work on yourself from an unbiased, no attached to the money, just because, see, and that's one thing I love about, once again, about paper, the money's out of it. So now what you have left? The
Hmm.
process. You have
Hmm.
nothing left to obsess about other than perfecting your craft and just, or at least getting better at whatever the case is. And then,
Hmm.
you did that. And then you went to top step. Then you went to fast track trading and you got your accounts. I'm assuming you bought what, three?
Yep, I bought
Yeah,
three the
three.
first time. Yep.
And then you took it and reinvested. Like you've gone about it in the right way. But one thing I want to talk about is, oh my gosh, I just drew a blank on the word. But trading is like very different from like school and everything else like that, in the sense of like you pay in losses that eventually turn into lessons that we cause traders, this is your market tuition. And the most important thing, I just want
Yeah.
everyone here to watch this video understand this. Guys, I don't care what Discord you join. I don't care if you pay for someone's mentorship, and I don't care if that person's mentorship costs $100,000. The most important thing in trading is screen time and experience.
Hmm.
That is
Yeah.
worth you. I can't even put a dollar amount. I mean, Jeff Bezos' net worth doesn't accumulate truthfully to what screen time and experience do because someone can teach you how to trade exactly like they do. And I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm gonna spoil it for everyone here. You can know exactly how someone trades and still not be profitable. I'm sure you can attest to that. You can know exactly how someone executes, exactly how someone analyzes the charts, and you still not be able to make a dollar because you don't
Hmm.
have screen time experience. Because one thing is this, not all trades, and I would say almost all trades are not like correlated. Like, yes, we have the same analysis, but
Hmm.
every trade requires a little bit of, okay, let me look at it from this perspective. It's very
Yeah.
much like tongue in cheek, touch and go. Now, granted,
Yeah.
the analysis and entry and exits, like that stuff doesn't change, but how you manage it, how you manage your emotions, how you do it. Because, like I tell people all the time, especially those in my mentorship and just in Crystal in general, the market can do at the end of the day whatever it wants to do. You might think the market's going to go up based on your analysis. What if it like pulls back and stops you out?
Hmm.
Does that mean you're a bad trader? No. It just means that the market can do whatever it wants to do. We don't control it. We just simply react to it. But no, that's definitely amazing. The
It's
20,
funny you
geez.
say that too, because I do want to make a comment on that. I used to be a very, very bad strategy hopper. I used to just drop
Mm.
the straddle from strategy to strategy.
Mm.
But like honestly, one day I just like started just watching the market and I just trade I don't even say I don't have a strategy. I just kind of trade what I see. Like I just trade price action. And in my opinion, it's just discretion because it's just a combination of like everything I've learned, like all the knowledge that I put together and just watching and seeing how it's moving. And of course, you know, you have your things, your thing that you look for in the market, but you know, just taking that time to really learn as much as you can and then being on the chart so much, you're going to see things being repeated and you're going to see, you know, similarities and look for certain things. So when I stopped like trying to like be so like I don't know, like strict on certain things and I kind of just looked for a lot of things at once. But it was okay, let me say this, let me clarify.
Yeah.
Don't have a list that was like throughout the whole page and you're trying to check for every single one of those while you're doing it. What
Yeah.
I mean for that by that is experience in trying out different things in the market is going to help you be able to make your decisions because you can naturally see certain things because you've trained your eye so much is
Hmm.
what I'm saying.
And
So yeah.
especially too, like, I don't think people realize how much patterns play into us deeper than what we realize. Because the market at the end of the day is patterns. We are executing
Mhm.
off of patterns. The same way that how we pick our partners is off of patterns. The same way that we go shopping is off of patterns. The same way that everything in life is a pattern. You just don't realize or look from that perspective. Like, for instance, like me, I know when I go shopping, I'm gonna go get some chicken, some eggs, some cheese, milk, whatever the case is. The same way how if I'm looking for interest in someone, I'm looking for her to have this, that, the third. If I want to go shopping for clothes, I need eight. Like it's all a
Right.
pattern. Trading is no different. You are looking for the same patterns in the market that you look for it in, just everything outside the chart. So no, I definitely hear you on that. No, I definitely, and you're absolutely right. I just, you know, it's just crazy to me to even like even this conversation. Like, wait, she's only been trading for a little bit over a year. Like, what? That's insane. Like, and just like seeing how far you come and just like that time is crazy. So like I guess like the next question I want to ask is like, in regards to like Crystal Academy, like specifically, like what ways do you feel like, the Academy like, helped you like better yourself? Or, like if anything.
First of all, I do want to say Crystal Academy is like everyone in Crystal, even the members of Crystal, I don't know, they just feel like they fit. Like it's just such a community. Like I don't know, everyone's so nice. The conversations are always nice. Like everyone is just very inviting, very helpful. And as far as the mentors, shout out to Jaden, shout out to Wall Street, Rico, and Sierra. I've personally had one-on-ones with everyone. If I say that you get into Crystal Academy, take advantage of that. Ask questions, join every meeting that you can. And if you can't join, like watch the videos because there's a lot of information. Even if you join a video that isn't about a topic that you specifically want to hear about, there's going to be gems dropped in there. Like you should just listen to it. Like you want to walk or something, you working out, like just put it in your ear and listen to it because there's a lot of information in Crystal. Um, like seriously, like I couldn't have done this without Crystal. Like everyone's been very open. Like all the meetings I've had with all of the admin, everyone, it's just been, I don't know, it just felt right. It just felt meant to be. Like it felt very family like. So I do appreciate you all, and you're all very smart and very talented individuals. And outside of everything, like what you all have created within Crystal, what all, oh God, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little
You're good.
sleepy.
You're good.
What you all have created within Crystal is amazing. And you are teaching so many people, you're changing so many lives. And I say, if you're watching this and you're not in Crystal, like I highly recommend getting in Crystal. You're definitely going to get way more information than you think possible. You're going to have access to the information, any videos. You can watch them over and over again if you need to. I've watched majority of all the videos and probably a few several times. So definitely everyone is great people outside of trading. Everyone has been very great, very kind, and they love what they do as well. And that's what matters. There's a lot of other discords I've joined throughout time, and they haven't been as inviting. I barely even want to say anything in the chats because like it's just not that type of environment. But over at
Right.
Crystal, they have a bigger purpose here, so I highly recommend and I appreciate all of you all. So yeah.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, because like I said, I mean, I know you've been in there for a minute, and like I said, I could scroll back in the thread and just see all the time. Hey, do you have a question
Hmm.
on this? What I'm saying, hey,
Hey Jaden,
yeah,
you
yeah,
like
yeah,
this?
yeah, yeah. So about those EMAs, like I'm kind of confused. No, no, I appreciate that. So I mean, shoot. So you're what? So you're 22 now.
Hmm.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So 22 years old, trading for a year, already made about 4,500. Already got 20 accounts. Already about to be due for another payout. So safe to say you're killing it. It's pretty good.
Sounds like it. I
It sounds like
appreciate
it's yeah.
it.
Yeah, she said you could say that, you know what I'm saying?
No. No, I appreciate it.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you deserve it. I feel like anyone who makes it in trading, bro, I don't care who you are, bro. You deserve to be praised. If they don't watch this video, bro, if you're profitable, I give praise to you because no matter what, I don't care who you are, what we do is not easy. It's a very, very
Mhm.
demanding, taxing thing. And I honestly think trading is one of the hardest things to pursue because I'm gonna just give like it's a kind of a brutal example, but I'll give the example of like a doctor, for example, right? When a doctor goes to operate on someone, let's just say, that she, like the patient doesn't survive during the operation. That doctor, no matter how great they are, is still going to get paid. It's still like, okay, I mean, it's not that the doctor go through it. It's very traumatizing, all that stuff. But in trading, it's like, you mess up, you're going to be affected by it because the price you pay is with money. And I feel like that's something that once again, no matter how much you try to detach yourself from it, you can really only take so many hits like Genby before. If you take too many, now you don't have any capital. And that's a hard thing to
Mhm.
do. It's a hard thing to accept, which is why I respect anyone who pursues this because this profession, it's beautiful and it's torturing and all that. It's both at once. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
it's beautiful what the potential is, but man, to achieve that, you mean I gotta basically give death to who I used to be and become someone new? Jeez, I don't know if I can do that.
that part.
But I'll tell you what though, like if I had to give anything, I mean, I could give advice all day on this stuff, but man, you don't know how much you're missing out on by not taking yourself serious as you should. Like that is, I can't even preach on that enough. I feel like once you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you have this like unsuppressing, I don't even know how to word, but just like this flame that can't be put out to just become better. I feel like that's where it all starts. And like you said, also you have to be delusional and optimistic in this to believe that you can make this type of money and whatever. Like you, for example, I mean, shoot, you're on the brink of doing crazy numbers this month. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say what I know the math, but the crazy numbers this month. And it's crazy because, like, for example, like me, I'm only 24.
Right.
Bro, put me back when I was 22 and I'm doing like bro, give me a 2 year advance. And like I feel like that's just one thing I feel like, it is what it is. But man, like with the access to knowledge, like whether it's crystal or just trading in general, bro, people don't understand that, bro. You could be 18. And I'm not saying start trading. No. Learn it, paper, 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 learn it. But the potential, like, bro, you give yourself from 18 to 20 of straight locking in. I'm not saying you're gonna make a
Man.
dollar. I will never because no one can. And I feel like anyone that promises, you do have to be kind of suspect of them. So I'm not saying you're gonna make a dollar, but the opportunity is there.
Hmm.
The potential is there. Like, like I remember like really when I think about it, this has been a very much a revelation year for me in many ways. But like when I think about like, man, like, why did I really take trading as serious as I did? I just knew I had a chance. I didn't care if it was 1% or a half percent. I saw others doing it. I said, and not me. And
Shoot, let me try it.
I feel like that's just where it comes out. It's that leap of faith. But see, like the funny thing about a leap of faith that I don't think people understand is sometimes that leap of faith that you're scared to take, that jump isn't that far from the bottom. It might be 6 inches or a foot, but because you're so scared, because you can't see over the cliff of, well, I don't know, you never take that jump. And I feel like
Hmm.
in trading, even trading executions in itself works the same way. You don't know what price is going to do, whether it's going to follow your plan, break, whatever case is, but you just got to jump.
Right.
That's all it comes down to.
That's all it
Not,
comes down to.
but nah, Bree, like I said, man, I appreciate, really this whole interview. Like you really just, dropped so many gems. And I know so many women who are gonna watch this and really take, a lot of advice from it. Cause I know that in the trading space in general, it is predominantly like, male dominated. Which is why like I wanted to, do this interview with you because I hear how you talk, payouts, all that stuff. Like to me, you have every valid credential that that I would look for in any trader. So, shout out
Mhm.
to you. I give you all the praise for that. But I guess, is there anything else that, like you want to say to like, whether they're a college student, maybe a girl want to learn how to trade, anyone? Is there any last thing you just want to like, leave them off with?
Um, I say to leave off with it, I just say go all in on yourself because you're the greatest project you're going to ever work on.
She's getting
So
cooking. Go
just
on.
go, I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah.
Man, it's like y'all said, man, the greatest project you ever work on. I think I'm gonna leave with that there too. To anyone watching this video, like I said, I pray and wish nothing but profitability over you in every single way. Hopefully, you took a lot of motivational stuff from this shoot. I've been doing this for a minute now, and I'm a little motivated. I'm about to run through a wall myself. So pardon me if I'm a little bit, riled up, and by the time this comes out, it's just, I love seeing other people win. Like I love seeing other people succeed more than like my own success because it's so beautiful to see what is possible in this life when you just keep going. Like I swear, bro, as long as you got grit and God, you will be surprised how far that you can go. But
Yeah.
if you got grit and God, and see, I'm gonna just speak on this. Grit is so much deeper than just discipline. It's just grinding it out no matter what circumstance, event. It's just like this, once again, this like unstoppable force inside you that just wants to keep moving forward no matter what. So I mean, that's why like I pride myself on two things: grit and God. As long as I got that, I don't know how, but I know that by faith I'll find a way. So that's personally how I carry myself. But nah, man, all I can also say too is, man, don't be afraid to start. This is also not
Right.
to like make anyone watch this video feel like, okay, I gotta go deposit the whole 401k. Brother, please, you have a family. Don't do that. Like, please, sister, you have a child. Let's not do that. I'm just saying this. I just think that a lot of people should be less terrified to start training, which is why I really like doing these interviews because I just want to break down that wall of fear. Like, yes, this is something where, yes, you're going to lose money in the beginning. Yes, there are losses that are going to occur, but it's no different from anything else in life. I mean, from college perspective, you're paying, how much money a year before you get your degree. You start your job, okay, you're not getting paid as much until you've accumulated X many years. It's really no different than anything else in this life. It's just that people just don't know much about it. But Bree, once again,
Mhm.
all that aside, I really do appreciate you for this interview, and I can't wait for this to be uploaded.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, guys, as she said too, if you want to learn more from us in Crystal Academy, me personally, Sierra, Rico, Wall Street, the gang, it will make you a better trader. The link will be below in the description of this video. And as always, I appreciate you all for watching. But peace, guys. Wow, man. I mean, what an interview. I don't really I'm feel like I'm almost left speechless at the end of this. It's very rare that I get this fired up about an interview like this, let alone trading like this, because it's very hard to be emotional in what I do because you always have to keep your emotions in check. That's why, like I said, no matter how big of a day I have, I can never celebrate it too much. Just how no matter what type of loss I to sustain, I can't let it affect me that much because I still have to wake up and trade and get at it the next day. And at the end of the day, it really is just one trade. But one thing I do want to harp on is, I'm not surprised in the slightest that Bree is profitable. Why? Because she has a winning mindset. Bree has all the psychological qualities that make not only a great trader, but a great individual who will succeed at whatever they choose to pursue. She takes accountability for everything. She addresses the flaws, that, hinder and hold her back, but most importantly, she takes the action in order to change. And I'm gonna tell you guys this too: you only need two things in trading. You need faith and action. You need to have the faith in yourself and God that He's gonna get you to where you want to go to. But then once you're in that faith, take the necessary steps in the action and remain obedient in your actions, so that way your blessing can come to fruition. I can't tell you how important that is, and I can tell you from a trading perspective, the moment I started to not only really let the faith live within me, but take action every single step I did with full confidence, whether it's a trade or whatever I did. That's when I start to become profitable. Like I say all the time, who you are off the charts is who you are on the charts. And just to pivot off that too, I really got to say thank you to everyone who's supporting the channel, from every single one of you who likes, comments, and subscribes. It does not go unnoticed, guys, so please continue to do the same with this video. I really cannot thank you enough. It's really worth more than words, and definitely I can't put a dollar amount on support. It just really is a blessing to see, how the channel is growing, and all of you guys, are starting to reach out. And as always, if you want to learn how to trade or just trying to get your mind right, join Crystal Academy. I will have the link below in this video, and there's actually a sale going on right now too that I will also have in the description of this video too, man. But nonetheless, to Bree, I know you're watching this video. Congratulations on your success, and I pray nothing but the best for you. But as always, this is Jane Hyken, and I thank you for watching.